following presentation contains a fictional emergency alert system, EAS, scenario created for creative, educational, and entertainment purposes only. This scenario is not an actual alert, warning, or activation of the emergency alert system. Any resemblance to real-world emergencies, events, or broadcasts is purely coincidental. This fictional scenario may include authentic EAS tones, broadcast alerts, and real siren sounds. Please be aware that these elements are used strictly for dramatic effect. Misuse of EAS tones, alerts, or siren audio outside of a controlled and clearly fictional environment may cause public confusion, fear, or widespread panic. Such misuse is taken seriously and, under federal law in the United States, may be considered a criminal offense. The creators of this scenario strongly advise that it be treated as a work of fiction only. It must not be redistributed, transmitted, or broadcast in a manner that could be mistaken for a genuine emergency message. Listener and viewer discretion is advised.
The world believed the stars were silent. For centuries, humanity gazed upward, never imagining the dark forces were watching. They came. The Galactic Empire had arrived. There is little time to prepare. They plan to erase a beautiful planet from existence. Earth is no longer the world of its own. It will become a battlefield in the Empire's galactic reign. The future of our planet is bleak, for they will show no mercy to humanity, no second chances, only destruction and devastation. And as for humanity, our fate is sealed. Our future is as bleak as the Earth itself.
The Zone.
From CBC News, Canada Now.
In St. John's, I'm Carl Webb.
This is a national civil danger warning issued by the Government of Canada through the Alert Ready Emergency System. At At 11:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on October 29, 2002, multiple unidentified flying objects were detected entering Earth's atmosphere and have been visually confirmed over several Canadian cities, including Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, and Winnipeg. Observers report that these craft are large, metallic, shuttle-shaped vehicles, accompanied by smaller high-speed escort craft, moving in coordinated formations. The origin, purpose, and intentions of these objects remain unknown, and the Canadian forces have been placed on the highest state of readiness to respond to any potential threats. Citizens in the affected areas are instructed to remain indoors and avoid windows and other exterior openings. Emergency shelters should be utilized if available, and residents are advised to keep telephones and other communication lines free for emergency use. Do not attempt to approach, investigate, or communicate with these unidentified objects under any circumstances. All civilian air traffic has been suspended until further notice, and roads may be restricted to allow for emergency response operations. Residents are urged to monitor television, radio, and official government channels for updates, to remain calm, and to follow all instructions issued by local authorities. Stay tuned to monitor media outlets for this situation.
This is an official emergency broadcast from the Government of the United Kingdom, transmitted via the British Broadcasting Corporation. At approximately 2 p.m. local time, several unidentified flying objects were detected entering Earth's atmosphere and have been observed over multiple UK cities, including London, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Cardiff, and Belfast. These objects have been described as shuttle-like craft accompanied by smaller fighter-type vehicles flying in coordinated formations. Their origin, purpose, and intent remain undetermined. The Royal Air Force has deployed intercept aircraft to investigate and, if necessary, engage the unidentified craft. Civil aviation has been suspended across all regions, and emergency response units are on high alert. The public is strongly advised to remain indoors, avoid windows and exterior walls, and seek shelter in interior rooms or basements where possible. Do not attempt to approach, observe, or communicate with these unidentified objects. Residents should maintain access to emergency communication channels and follow instructions issued by local law enforcement, civil defense authorities, and government officials. This is a developing situation, and additional updates will be provided as they become available.
infection is expected to spread rapidly during this crisis. The enemy has deployed highly advanced weapons systems capable of obliterating entire cities within minutes. These include orbital strikes, heavy artillery, and mechanized ground units of unprecedented scale and strength. Direct confrontation is considered impossible at this time. Their firepower is unmatched. You are strongly advised to seek immediate shelter underground. Select a location with minimal doors, no windows, and strong structural integrity. Basements, storm bunkers, and fortified underground areas are strongly recommended. If possible, bring the following essential supplies with you. Non-perishable food and clean drinking water sufficient for at least 2 weeks. Don't forget to bring medical kits, essential medications, and sanitation supplies. Battery-powered communication devices and spare batteries. Blankets, protective clothing, and personal identification documents. If evacuation routes remain open in your area, you may attempt to evacuate to designated safe zones. However, time is extremely limited. Reports confirm that many areas are expected to fall to hostile occupation within hours. Roads and major highways may already be compromised or under surveillance by enemy forces. Only travel if absolutely certain that a clear and safe route exists. If you are unable to evacuate, remain in place. Secure your shelter immediately. Barricade all entrances, reinforce doors with heavy objects, and extinguish all visible light sources that may reveal your location. Do not attempt to engage hostile units under any circumstances. Prepare to shelter indefinitely until further instructions are issued.
Approximately 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Galactic Empire initiated a full-scale invasion of Canadian territory. This assault began barely 5 minutes after their incursion into the United States, demonstrating both the speed and precision with which their forces operate. Imperial war machines and military divisions have crossed into Canada without resistance, spreading destruction across multiple provinces. Several cities and towns have already come under heavy attack, with high-powered laser weaponry and other advanced technologies being deployed against civilian and military targets alike. All regions of Canada, without exception, are under imminent and direct threat. The Empire's forces are overwhelming in both firepower and numbers. Their movements are swift, coordinated, and relentless. No community, urban, rural, coastal, or inland, can consider itself beyond the reach of this invasion. The advance continues at a pace that current defenses cannot withstand. Citizens are advised to immediately seek underground shelter. Locate a secure environment with no windows and minimal entry points. Reinforced basements, storm shelters, or deep underground structures offer the best chances of survival. Bring only essential supplies, non-perishable food, clean water, medical kits, flashlights, and a battery-powered radio to receive ongoing emergency instructions. Power and communication systems may fail at any time. Evacuation routes are unstable and subject to sudden collapse due to both the Empire's attacks and the strain of mass civilian movement. If you attempt to evacuate, proceed with the highest degree of caution. Roads, bridges, and transport corridors may be destroyed without warning, leaving thousands stranded. There is no guarantee of safety beyond your chosen location. This message will be repeated and updated as long as communications remain operational. Act now.
This is a national emergency warning issued by the Government of Australia, through Emergency Management Australia in coordination with the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. The presence of the Galactic Empire has been confirmed over Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, Canberra, Hobart, and Darwin, with additional unverified reports emerging from several regional centres. Australian air and ground forces are actively engaging the invading fleet. Despite these defensive efforts, the scale of enemy firepower far exceeds anything previously encountered. Entire urban districts have sustained direct bombardment, resulting in widespread destruction of infrastructure, uncontrollable fires, and extensive power failures across multiple states. Blackout conditions are spreading as the national grid comes under attack. Civilians in numerous areas are now experiencing panic and confusion. Road networks are collapsing under the combined strain of traffic jams, debris, and targeted strikes. Many escape routes are blocked, leaving communities isolated and trapped. Communication networks are failing, with mobile towers and broadcast relays either disabled by enemy assault or overwhelmed by mass civilian use. Emergency services are overstretched, with reports of fire crews unable to reach burning districts and paramedics struggling to attend to the escalating number of casualties and displaced persons. Hospitals, clinics, and emergency shelters are now at or beyond maximum capacity. Many have suffered direct damage, and patients are being treated in hallways, parking areas, and improvised outdoor stations. Supplies of medicine, water, and power are running critically low in several metropolitan areas. Authorities have confirmed that the scale and intensity of these attacks are unprecedented in Australian history and present a direct and ongoing threat to life nationwide. All civilians are urgently instructed to take immediate protective measures, remain indoors and seek the most secure interior rooms, basements, or reinforced structures available. Avoid windows, rooftops, and all external areas. Do not attempt to evacuate unless explicitly ordered by local officials, as conditions outside remain extremely hazardous. Keep all communication lines open only for verified updates. Emergency hotlines and radio frequencies are being prioritized for official use. Please do not overload them with non-essential calls. Monitor the ABC, official government channels, and authorized emergency frequencies for real-time instructions. Above all, comply fully with all government directives. Disregarding official instructions will result in death. This is a continuing and rapidly escalating emergency. Stay sheltered, stay alert, and await further instructions issued by the government.
This is an official emergency broadcast issued by the government of South Africa. Imperial forces have breached national airspace in a full-scale assault. Enemy warships and high-speed escort craft have been confirmed over major metropolitan regions, including Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, Pretoria, Port Elizabeth, Bloemfontein, and numerous additional urban centers across the country. Widespread devastation is being reported. Critical infrastructure has been severely compromised. Electricity grids are failing. Major highways and rail systems have collapsed under the strain of bombardment and mass civilian evacuation. And communication networks are experiencing partial or total blackouts. Fires and secondary explosions are spreading through heavily populated districts, leaving emergency services unable to contain the damage. Civilian casualties are extensive, and chaos is rapidly escalating as residents
agents attempt to flee targeted areas. The South African National Defence Force is actively engaging the invaders. However, ground and aerial units are sustaining severe losses against technologically superior weaponry. Several defensive positions have already been overrun, and the scale of destruction continues to grow. Emergency response teams are operating at full capacity but remain overwhelmed and unable to reach many affected zones. All citizens are hereby instructed to seek the nearest secure interior shelter immediately. Avoid all windows and external areas. Do not attempt to travel or evacuate unless ordered through verified channels, as roadways and transit routes are no longer safe. Keep all communication lines reserved strictly for official updates and urgent emergencies.
Playing the odds.
Just stay out of my face.
Have to get out of there.
We all make mistakes.
Tempting fate.
We've got a security breach.
Getting interesting now, isn't it?
Stephen Tompkinson and Nick Berry are in deep. New crime doubles Monday and continuing Tuesday at 9 on BBC One. This Sunday, last year's headliners and two rising stars meet centre stage. Starring Owen, Henri, Ronchop and Stewart. Directed by Thompson, Wenger, Burley.
From the United Kingdom's Space Agency and Her Majesty's Government. Please stand by for further information. We interrupt our programming for an emergency from the United Kingdom's Space Agency and Her Majesty's Government. Please stand by for further information. We interrupt our programming for an emergency from the United Kingdom's Space Agency and Her Majesty's Government. Please stand by for further information. This is the BBC, broadcasting to the United Kingdom and the wider Commonwealth with a national emergency message. We interrupt our programming at the request of Her Majesty's Government due to a national threat. It has now been 3 full days since the confirmed invasion of Earth by hostile forces known as the Galactic Empire. Their presence is no longer limited to orbit. Star Destroyer-class vessels remain positioned above the planet, and Imperial ground forces have established several footholds across several continents. The Prime Minister, in close coordination with His Majesty the King, Parliament, NATO, and the United Nations Security Council, has declared a continuing planetary state of emergency. The British government has ordered the mobilization of all armed forces, and the nation is now operating under the highest level of alert. Major cities including London, Birmingham, Manchester, and Glasgow have sustained significant damage from orbital bombardments. The Transport for London network has been suspended indefinitely, and the National Rail Service is operating on a strictly limited emergency timetable. Power outages, communications blackouts, and food shortages have been reported across several counties. Military installations remain primary targets, and civilian casualties have been confirmed to be rising in multiple regions. The United Kingdom is currently working to contain the situation and protect residents. However, this task may be almost impossible due to the superior technology and weapons that they have. Citizens are instructed to remain indoors unless evacuation orders are given by civil or military authorities. All unnecessary travel is to be avoided. If you live near major population centers, ports, or military facilities, prepare to relocate should instructions be issued. Follow the directions of police, the Home Guard, or armed forces personnel without question. Please continue to monitor news and radio for more information on this dangerous event. Please be safe.
This is NOAA radio transmitting a national emergency message. This station is experiencing a state of emergency broadcast attention. Therefore, all news related to weather forecasts has been suspended indefinitely. Instead, all messages will be transmitted regarding national and global emergencies until an emergency action termination broadcast has been issued. Currently, a national emergency has been issued for the United States and will remain in effect until a national emergency termination broadcast is issued. This station will retransmit shortly. Please stand by.
Message from the United States government, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. A massive, coordinated invasion of Earth by the Galactic Empire is underway. The attack involves numerous key locations globally, including North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Oceania, with devastating effects on major population centers, military bases, and vital infrastructure. Reports confirm that enemy forces possess extremely advanced technology, including heavily armed spacecraft capable of wreaking havoc. Observations reveal numerous cities under direct assault, resulting in loss of life and widespread destruction. Emergency response teams are working diligently to rescue those in need and contain the crisis. Immediate evacuation to secure locations is advised. These could be underground facilities, well-protected basements, or designated shelters where one can wait until authorities deem it safe to emerge. It is imperative to keep away from windows, open spaces, rooftops, and other danger zones where civilians can be targeted. Residents should prepare for potential extended sheltering, storing essentials such as safe drinking water, non-perishable food, medical supplies, and protective gear within easy reach. Citizens are urged to remain tuned to official broadcasts and emergency radio channels for continuous updates, instructions, and critical information, including safe zones and evacuation procedures. Current military and emergency response efforts face significant challenges due to the invasion's vast scope and coordination. This station has been suspended for the duration of this emergency.
Good morning. This is WCBS News Radio 880. Reliable sources indicate that the world is currently experiencing a crisis of unprecedented scale due to the Galactic Empire and its leader launching coordinated attacks against major nations worldwide. Reports confirm that several countries have already collapsed under the weight of the invasion, with widespread destruction of cities, infrastructure, and key government facilities. Authorities confirm that the United States is facing imminent surrender. Military and emergency response units are actively engaged in defending critical areas. However, the scale of the attacks has overwhelmed conventional defenses. Civilians are strongly advised to remain in secure shelters, preferably underground or in fortified locations, and to avoid all non-essential travel until an official all-clear or further instructions are issued. Citizens should maintain access to emergency communication devices, tune to official broadcasts, and prepare for the possibility of prolonged sheltering. Additional updates will be transmitted periodically as new information becomes available. Compliance with all instructions issued by local, state, and federal authorities is essential for personal safety and the protection of your community. We thank you for your attention. Stay calm, remain sheltered, and continue monitoring official broadcasts for further updates. This is the final official broadcast of the United States government. The United States and all nations of the world have been decisively defeated by the forces of the Galactic Empire. All military forces, civil defense units, and emergency response operations have been rendered ineffective. Consequently, the planet is currently under threat from the Death Star, a superweapon capable of complete planetary annihilation. Observational data confirm that the Death Star is fully operational and has targeted Earth and will strike in the next hour. Due to the magnitude and power of this weapon, there is no means of defense or mitigation. All remaining emergency operations, including evacuation and defensive measures, have stopped. Point citizens are advised to gather with friends and family and to face the inevitable with dignity, honor, and respect. Individuals who choose to leave on their own terms are authorized to do so. However, those with loved ones are strongly urged to remain together. Care for others in these final moments is strongly recommended. This broadcast represents the last formal transmission of the United States government. May God be with you all. Cities have been reduced to ruins, and all organized military or civil resistance has ceased. There is no longer any governing authority capable of coordinating survival or defense. The Death Star is now fully operational and has locked its super laser on the planet. Impact is expected within the next 20 minutes. No technology, no countermeasure, and no intervention can prevent the destruction that is about to occur. Every major urban center, every remaining structure, and all living beings will be obliterated. Citizens are instructed to gather with friends and family if possible, and face the final moments with respect, dignity, and awareness of the end. Individuals may choose to leave on their own terms, but those with loved ones should remain together. The choices available in these last moments are the only control left to humanity. This broadcast marks the last formal communication from the United Nations. The broadcast will now conclude with the playing of the hymn to the United Nations.